Hi, my name's Sarah from Sarah's Gemstones, and today we're going to be doing something interesting. So we're going to be cutting a material called North Ridge Plume Agate, which I've not cut before and I don't actually know a lot about. When I finish cutting, I'll probably go off and do a little bit of research about it, but it's really quite an interesting material. It's very full of plumes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wet it and I'm going to check it under the light and see which bits of this slab I want to extract. So we're going to go and do that now. So, I mean, there's some really interesting colours in there. Those reds and oranges. And lots of really interesting plumes. And in fact, they go all the way across. So I think I can work my way across this slab systematically. And there's a really interesting marking, a really interesting plume right here on the side. It looks like white coral. I'm going to try, I know it's on the edge, but I'm going to try and keep it in there on my first stone with this stuff. And the only issue I think I'm going to face is that it's tapered slightly on one side, so it goes in that direction, but it doesn't show through as well on this side. So I'm going to go ahead and cut and see if I can keep it in there. Let me just get this dried off first, and then I'm going to draw my shape onto the stone. So the other thing I'm going to do as well is I'm not going to be beholden to any kind of standard template. What I would like to do is cut a fancy shape into this one. So I think when I get it on the trim, I'm just going to trim down here, which will then keep all of that lovely stuff in there. Okay. Okay, so we're ready to cut this material. Just so you know, agate's a notoriously hard material, and we're using a trim saw which is impregnated with diamonds on either side of it, which makes it possible for us to cut these stones. Okay. Right, so here's our lovely stone. It's got some really nice features inside it and some really great colours. When that's polished, those colours are going to show up even more. They're really going to pop out. But how we're going to start, we're going to grind off this nubbin here. I'm going to get rid of that, and we're going to get rid of all of this stone around the outside and this crusty stuff around this side. We'll do that now, and because it's an agate and it's really hard, we'll use our first fierce grinding wheel. Okay. Okay, so here's where we're at with it. Okay. This was the side, this was the side. That was our little white bit that I really wanted to keep on there. So it stayed. I think the stone sort of smacks of being orientated this way up, and actually would make a really lovely pendant. It's a good shape, I'm happy with that. Okay, so our next stage will be, if you can see there in the light, so that first will put some pretty bad scratches onto the edges of the stone. So we're going to drop down to our next wheel. We're going to get rid of those scratches, and then we're going to start shaping our stone up. Here we go. Okay, so let me just get that dried off a little bit. So I need to check the edges to make sure that there are no scratches left from that first wheel, and I'm confident, yeah, that we are all good. So now what we're going to do, we're going to jump back up to our first wheel and we're going to start grinding in our shape. Now we're going back to that first wheel, our hardest wheel, and that's mainly because this is an agate, it's super hard material, so we don't want to be shaping forever. So let's go back up to the first wheel. Okay. Okay, so that's our shaping done. Took quite a long time to remove that material because it's just so hard. Anyway, we've got quite a lot of quite deep scratches at the top here, so we'll be dropping down to our next wheel to get rid of those scratches and really perfect our shape there. And then we'll be continuing on down for the polishing process. Okay, so we're just going to do our final polish with the diamond paste, and then we'll get it back to the desk and have a look at what we've done. So here's the stone now, cut and polished, and what we're going to do is we're going to have a little inspection of it, make sure there's no scratches on there, and we're going to check out some of these plumes. Okay, so there's our finished piece. It's really nice and shiny. That's the great thing about agates, they do take a really high polish. There's some quite dense plumes in there. You know, originally we were talking about the orientation of this, and because of the shape of the stone, and I thought it should be orientated like this, but now that it's been cut and I see those plumes in there, I think maybe it should be in this direction because these look like trees going upwards. I hope you've enjoyed watching me cut this North Ridge Plume Agate. Hopefully it will make someone a lovely pendant. If you've enjoyed the videos, then please follow us on YouTube.